He built an empire out of blood, and it was his blood that drowned him. For 1,316 days, Roman Reigns was untouchable. The tribal chief, the head of the table, the godfather of WWE dominance. But in the shadows of that greatness, a monster was waiting, not to follow him, but to replace him. The betrayal did not come with a chair shot. It came with silence, and by the time Roman realized what he had created, it was too late. This is not just a story of a fall. This is the story of a man who was erased by his own family. And if you think you know the bloodline, think again. You have to remember the glory to understand the destruction, the head of the table, the tribal chief. For years, these were law. Roman Reigns, with his wiseman Paul Heyman, ruled SmackDown with an iron fist. He wasn't just winning. He was telling a story of power, manipulation, and toxic family loyalty. He played mind games with his cousins, Jey and Jimmy Uso, turning them into pawns. He brought in his younger cousin, Solo Sikoa, as his silent, stoic enforcer, a human shield and a weapon. The Bloodline wasn't just a faction. It was a dynasty holding all the gold and all the power. Every move was calculated to reinforce one idea. Roman Reigns was inevitable. Then WrestleMania 40 happened. Cody Rhodes got his storybook ending, and the 1,316-day reign was over. And with that loss, Roman did the one thing we never thought we'd see. He vanished. He took a long hiatus, leaving a massive power vacuum at the top. And in that silence, the man he'd brought in to protect the throne decided he liked the view. While Roman was away, Solo Sikoa stayed, and he watched, and he waited. The one night that changed everything. Roman Reigns' legacy wasn't just about title defenses, it was about control. His whole mantra was, "Acknowledge me," a demand for obedience. His bloodline, for all its issues, was built on a twisted family loyalty that he orchestrated. The night that legacy shattered had no championship on the line. It was the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Paul Heyman was in the ring, trying to hold it all together for a tribal chief who wasn't there. Then Solo Sikoa, who had barely spoken for 2 years, took the mic and said, "Winning and losing matters." He was twisting Heyman's own words into a new mission statement. He hugged his brother, Jimmy Uso, making it look like forgiveness. And then came the turn. A new face, Tama Tonga, appeared, and on Solo's silent command, they utterly annihilated Jimmy Uso. They kicked him out of the family he helped build. That was the moment. That's when Roman's legacy died. In that single act, Solo Sikoa proved that Roman's foundation was built on sand. Roman's bloodline was a dysfunctional family. Solo's new bloodline is a gang. Roman was a strategist. Solo is a predator. He doesn't ask for acknowledgement, he takes it through violence. He took out Jimmy without Roman's permission, a blatant act of mutiny that proved the tribal chief was gone. The old bloodline was dead, and Solo Sikoa was standing over the body. The era of fear. What came next was a masterclass in psychological horror starring Paul Heyman. Under Roman, Heyman was the wiseman, reveling in the power. Under Solo, he became a hostage. The fear in Heyman's eyes told the story better than any promo could. His desperate, failed attempts to call Roman sold the terrifying new reality. This was a hostile takeover. Solo wasn't just adding members, he was collecting monsters. He brought in the imposing Tonga Loa. Then came the real game changer, Jacob Fatu. Fatu's debut was an explosion of violence, as he laid waste to top stars with a ferocity that seemed to stun even his own crew. Where Roman's group was about calculated dominance, Solo's is about pure, unadulterated chaos. They aren't strategists, they're sharks that smell blood. The symbolic end came during an acknowledgement ceremony. One by one, the new members acknowledged Solo. But when it was Heyman's turn, he broke down, refusing to acknowledge Solo as his tribal chief. The response was swift and horrifying. a Samoan spike from Solo, and a brutal attack that sent a clear message to the entire world, and to one man watching from home. Your wise man is ours now. Your family is ours now. Your legacy is ours now. And so, the stage is set for a conflict bigger than any championship. After months of speculation, Roman Reigns finally returned on the July 14, 2025, episode of Raw, saving his cousin Jey Uso from an attack. Reports suggest he'll be presented as the OTC, the original tribal chief, as he comes back not just to reclaim a spot, but to reclaim his entire identity. But what is he returning to? The family he led is gone, replaced by a more vicious version of itself. This has set up a massive tag team match for SummerSlam, where Roman Reigns will team with Jey Uso to take on Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Meanwhile, the cracks in Solo's regime are already showing. After Jacob Fatu turned on Solo at Money in the Bank, the two are now on a collision course. They are set to face each other in a steel cage match at SummerSlam for Solo Sikoa's United States Championship. This is no longer just a power struggle. It's a civil war for the soul of the Anoa'i dynasty. Can Roman's calculated leadership overcome Solo's raw, violent ambition? Can the original tribal chief defeat the monster he created? Roman Reigns told one of the greatest stories in WWE history, but Solo Sikoa is trying to write the final chapter with a sledgehammer. He proved you don't need to pin Roman to beat him. You just have to take everything he built, twist it into something unrecognizable, and dare him to fix it. Solo has corrupted Roman's greatest creation, turning his family against him and installing himself as a tyrant. The chapter of Roman Reigns as the untouchable tribal chief is closed. Solo Sikoa slammed it shut. He didn't need a referee's 3 count. He just had to be more ruthless and more willing to burn the empire to the ground to rule its ashes. The question is no longer if Roman can fight back, but what will be left when the war is over. What do you think? Has Solo Sikoa truly destroyed Roman Reigns' legacy, or can the OTC reclaim his spot at the head of the table? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy deep dives into the best stories in wrestling, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update.